Well, hey folks, and welcome to SolarCabin channel. Beautiful fall weather we're having here. Been nice and cool during the daytimes, and first I wanted to show you my new toy. This is I just got this summer. It's a '93 Jeep Wrangler, and I got this because I like to do a lot of adventuring, and a lot of the places I like to go adventuring, you can't get a regular vehicle into. You have to have four-wheel drive. And so I finally found me a Jeep at a decent price, and I'm really happy with this because I had a Jeep when I was in college. I loved it. When I got married, I had little kids, couldn't put everybody in a Jeep, so I sold it, and I've always wanted to find one since then. I finally found one at a good price, so I picked me up a Jeep, so I'm very happy with that. Now, I'm going to show you a product. It's not really an off-grid product, but it's something that I highly recommend for everybody, and off-gridders will especially appreciate this, especially if you're an adventurer like me. You go off fishing, hunting, or hiking or something like that in your vehicles. Because I'll tell you my story. A couple of years back, I went up into a canyon that I wasn't real familiar with. I drove way back up into this canyon with my dogs to go do some adventuring, and we got off away from the vehicle and hiked around all day long. I come back to the truck that evening, and the battery wouldn't start. And I was stuck right there without a battery, and no way to call out because I was way up in the canyon. No way to call out because I was way up in the canyons, and nobody was going to be coming up that direction forever. Okay? So I was basically stuck, and I didn't realize how cold it was going to get at night, even though it was late fall when I was up there and there was no snow on the ground. When you're up in the middle of a canyon with no sun shining down on you, those canyons get extremely cold. And so I was in fear that I would actually die of hypothermia because it was so cold. And so I got in the back of the vehicle, and I put my coats and everything over me that I could find. I got the dogs in on top of me to lay on top of me, and I stayed there through the night because if I'd have tried wandering out of the canyon in dark, I would have never made it out. I probably wandered off the trail and got lost someplace else or fallen off a cliff because there was all kinds of cliffs and stuff around there. So I decided it'd be better and safer if I stayed until morning. So I got the dogs in on top of me, and they kept me warm, and I managed to stay warm through the night. And the next day I hiked back out, which was about 10 miles back out to a road, flagged down a forest ranger because nobody else was going to come along there, and he came back up with me and started my truck, and I managed to get it back on home. But that really opened my eyes and made me aware of the things that can go wrong, especially when you're a lone person or with your family or whatever, with a vehicle that could strand you completely. And so my brother turned me on to this product, and this is made by Afterpartz, and it's Afterpartz with a Z on the end of it, and I will put a link on my website so you can go and look at one of these or a similar unit, because I really recommend these. What they are is it's a battery starter recharger. It doesn't really recharge your vehicle battery, but it's got enough power that it will zap your battery enough that you can restart your battery if the battery is there. And this is the unit. It's from Afterpartz. It comes in a really nice case. They did a really great, excellent job on this case, and you can see how small it is. It's small enough that you can stick this in your glove box or underneath your seat. You won't even notice it's there. Now this also is a charging station for things like a phone, radio, MP3 player, iPads, those sorts of things. You can recharge directly from one of these units. So if you're up in the mountains and your phone goes dead on you because you forgot to recharge your battery, you could recharge your phone with one of these as well. And I'll show you what's inside these because they're a pretty dang nifty little kit. Now I was very surprised that the battery on this is only this big. That's all it is, okay? But they say this battery will restart a 4-cylinder or 6-cylinder vehicle about 20 times. Okay, that's very impressive. It is 200 amps start current with a 400 amp peak current, and that's the peak that hits the battery when you want to restart it. It'll hit it with 400 amps, which is good power. And then the battery capacity is 800 microamps, and they recommend that you recharge it up to full capacity every 3 months. But most people say it'll last 6 months without recharging it at all unless you're using it. If you're using it, then you want to recharge it more often. You can recharge it from the USB port directly from a computer or a USB charger. You can get USB chargers. And it comes with a nifty little set of battery cables, look just like standard battery jumper cables, red and black, that you plug into the port on the battery unit. Then you hook that to your battery, Start it up, but then within 30 seconds, take these off. Don't leave them on there or it'll drain the battery down. So if it starts right up, take them off and disconnect the battery. Then it also comes with some universal plugs for your different phones, iPads, and appliances like that. So it's got these different little plugs. Now, if for some reason one of these plugs don't fit the unit that you have, you can always go and find a USB plug for the phone or whatever you have. You can find them all over the place. Amazon has them. So if one of these doesn't work, they give you the 4 universal ones that work with most units. But if for some reason this doesn't work, you can still find one that'll work for your unit. It also gives you another plug-in cord here for a different type of phone. So it gives you 6 different phone or iPad connectors in there. All comes in a nice little case, as you can see. Little spots for everything. For the battery just goes down in here, and this covers up. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you how this works. And I haven't used it, but I used my brother's, so I know they work well. But I've got a truck sitting over here that, since I got the Jeep, I've been off playing, driving the Jeep all the time. I let my truck and my ATV battery sit, and they went dead because they're old batteries. So I'm going to go restart my truck that's been sitting now for months without a charge on it, and my ATV, the same situation. I'm going to restart it with this to show you how well these work. And I really recommend you get one of these, because you never know, you're going to go out some cold morning and your vehicle's not going to start on you, or you're going to be like me, you're going to be up in a canyon thinking that your battery is really good and your battery's going to crap out on you, and you're not going to be able to get out to where you can find help to get your battery restarted. One of these units costs $59, so figure 60 bucks. You may find some less expensive, I don't know. I didn't look at a lot of the different brands, because this one was recommended to me. It has 5 stars on Amazon, 79 different reviews. Very excellent reviews for this unit. I wouldn't tell you to buy something that didn't have excellent reviews. This has 5-star reviews. So I think it's a good product. I'm going to take you over now. I'll show you how I use it when I start up my truck. Okay folks, so this is my work truck, which I've shown you a few times around here. I use this mostly just around the farm here now, around the homestead, but it was my vehicle for going fishing and camping a lot. But it's not 4-wheel drive, it's only 2-wheel drive. It's a good little truck, but it wouldn't get me back in some places where I wanted to go, which is why I bought the Jeep. But it's been sitting since I got the Jeep. I've just been driving it, and you can see it's been sitting here so long the weeds have grown up all around it, and the battery went completely dead, and I think the battery might be bad. I won't know until I get it restarted here. So anyway, I'm going to show you this unit. This comes with this is the kit, and like I said, it's got a really nice, so that you can see it here. Okay, it's got a really nice fabric cover over plastic. It's got a hard plastic cover inside, fabric cover over it, zipper on it, real nice, very well made. Okay, very well made. And inside the kit, it comes with, like I said, the different plugs, and then the battery unit here. And all you need to do is take this out. You could actually leave it in the case, which is what I'm probably going to do. I'm just going to leave it in the case there. And then I'm going to connect the cables here, and I'm going to set the camera down for just a second while I set these cables up, and then I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, folks, so I've got this hooked up. Now, I hooked it up once, and it wasn't showing any power inside the cab at all. So that told me, and that's one good thing about this, is it's got a little box you can see there next to the cables that was reading an error message, which told me that the battery cables had become corroded or I had a bad connection. So I went and cleaned up the battery all up good, and cleaned up the connections, scrubbed them down, and put the connections on. Now, one thing about these starter units, they won't start a vehicle if you've got a bad connection to your starter motor or a bad connection on the batteries that's interfering with it jumping. So you may have to clean up your cables and clean up your battery in order to start it, even with one of these small units like this. And if your battery is cracked or damaged and won't hold a charge at all, these little units probably won't start up even a vehicle in that condition. A lot of newer vehicles have a electronic system that requires that the battery be connected to the system, or they won't start or run at all. Because they have electronic fuel pumps and everything else, all kinds of electronic gadgets on them. Older vehicles, you can actually pull the battery out after the vehicle started, and the vehicle will keep running. But these newer vehicles, they won't do that. So now I've got this hooked up, I got the battery all cleaned up, the connections all cleaned up, so we'll go ahead and see if this starts it up. Alright, here's the test to see if this little unit works. Get inside here, turn the key, and she started right up. Everything working. Alright, so that's how these little units work, and they work really well on 4-cylinder and 6-cylinder. Turn off the vehicle so you can hear me here. So that's how these little starters work. And they work really well on 4-cylinder and 6-cylinder vehicles. Turn this off now. And are great for emergency starts. Now, I really think that these are a great product to have if you're like an adventurer like me. You go out in the boonies someplace where you're not going to have another vehicle to jump you. But you should also still have a pair of jumper cables and know how to use them around your house. And I have several pair around my house. In all my different vehicles, I usually have a pair of jumper cables. But this little unit, which is made by, again, it's made by Afterpartz with a Z on the end of it. Comes with the little battery starter, the cables, and connections for charging up a phone or an iPad or MP3 player or something like that. These are a great little emergency power station kit for if you're away from another vehicle, you need a jump start, or if you're out camping or something like that and you need an extra power supply because you're going to be away from your regular power supply to recharge your phones and your small gadgets and things like that. So I'm going to put the website and link to go and purchase these and look at them if you want. You might find one that's that fits your needs for a 8-cylinder vehicle instead of a 4-cylinder or 6-cylinder if you have one. And let me know what you think. Go to my website, www.simplesolarhomesteading.com. You will see the link right at the top. I've also got some great new cabin plans on there and some other products and things that you might be interested in. So go ahead and check out my store. And I hope you enjoyed this section. I'm going to be doing some more videos on some off-grid small solar panel systems, emergency systems and things like that. So please subscribe to my channel. That way you'll know when I make new videos. Alright everybody, have a great fall and a great winter.